Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Eve. This is Everyday Artist, and welcome. That ear you see behind me is Rogue. There she is. It has been a long week. My dad is, for those of you who don't know, my dad went into the hospital on Wednesday, and he had aspiration pneumonia. And they decided that a feeding tube inserted in his stomach would be the best solution so that he doesn't get pneumonia again. But it has been an up and down week. He had that done yesterday, but he is very frail because he has been steadily losing weight. I'm like, why didn't somebody suggest this a year ago? Anyway, I hope he's doing better and will be able to come home soon. But thank you guys who have, from our Three Sisters creative video, who have put their prayers and wishes for my dad on our video. We really appreciate it, so thank you. My birthday was yesterday. I'm old. And now I'm older. Funny thing is that I rarely feel old. I mean, you know, when you get the aches and pains and stuff like that, you kind of go, yeah. But, you know, it's just another day. But I did have a nice birthday. I will show you at the end some nice things I got for my birthday if you're interested. I have not had a lot of concentration to do much of anything, but the last couple of days I have been able to actually get some progress done on a couple of things. I would pick up stuff and just go, I don't feel like doing this. I have fabric laid out on my table, and I was like, I don't want to do it. So you know, maybe working on stuff 5-10 minutes at a time, that kind of thing. Yeah, but you know, cross stitch does help you. That's the nice thing about our crafts, is we can pour ourselves into them and our feelings into them, and it does help. For the first time in a long time, I felt like painting. Unfortunately, I just wasn't able to get to my painting. Stop that. So. Yeah. Let me say I felt like painting, but I felt like painting for, you know, a couple minutes. So it's been one of those times. Let me start with Whip Go, because that has been my biggest challenge this week. One of the calls for this month, and I'll show you the cat. I'm going to start working on it today, so I'll show you next week. But was a new start for Underwater World, and as I showed you last week, I started this. I started it on this fabric. It was too light, the fabric. I started it on this fabric. The fabric ended up being too small. I did look at the measurements before I started, but you know, yeah. So then I restarted on this fabric, and I got to the bubbles, and I just don't like, I don't know. The fabric is, maybe it doesn't show on the screen. I think the fabric is just, I don't know, too teal or something. So I have to step back from it for a while and just decide what I want to do. I didn't like the way the water, this is blue and it looks white on here, but it is blue. It shows up. That's not the problem. Anyway, the goal was 10 days on this. And I want to say I spent 6 days between all of these starts. And I'm not going to keep working on it if I'm not sure what I want to do. If I decide after stepping away from it that, oh, it looks good on this, I'll just keep on, then I will. But I'm not going to keep on doing it and get, a whole bunch of stuff done and go, I just really don't like it on that fabric. So, because an option is, I did go back to this fabric and start putting in the other color for the seahorse to say, what about trying that again and seeing if I just darken up some colors where I'd be. So right now this is going in timeout, and I am going to call that WhipGo goal done, because I did take it out, I did work on it, and the only reason I'm stopping is not because I don't want to finish my goal, but because of other things. And one of the other reasons why I decided to call it done was in place of working on that, I decided to go ahead and work on this. So I got an S and a T done. And that was part of the rest of the 10 days. As I said, I've had issues with sitting down and working on anything. So I'm going to call the goal done. I know it wasn't done, but I made a great effort. I would have continued with it for 10 days had life and fabric worked okay. So I made myself 2 new starts instead of just one. But this one, at least I know I like the way it looks on this, and then I'll have these 2 things to go together. So yeah. Needless to say, I did not FFO the pillow that I have everything laid out for, because I just wasn't feeling like doing it. And then I have had to start taking my sister to various appointments again. So I have it, excuse me. I'm trying to decide if I showed this last week. But I have been working on Mill Hill. Let's see if you can see this. Oh, it needs to be white. There we go. This is Mill Hill Letters to Santa, and I'm starting on the puppy. And I might have showed it to you last week, but I can't find the little picture that goes with it. It's not in the little bag with it. I don't know. If I find it, I'll put a little picture here. But I'm going to persevere on the dog. There were 4 colors of brown, and I've done 1. So there's 3 more colors of brown. And then it's ready for some back stitching and some beading. Of course, I'll do the back stitching and then I'll work on beading. But uh, there's my little Mill Hill kit. This is the first Mill Hill kit that I've worked on, and you know, they come with everything, which is really nice. They come with a beading needle. They come with a regular needle. I'm not loving the perforated paper, but I could get over that. The perforated paper catches the thread all the time. That's the only reason I have an issue with it. But I could do another one if I ever finish this one. I think it's going to be really cute. I'm going to do a refrigerator magnet, not an ornament. I think it's adorable. So, it's going to be a very, very short video because like I said, have not been doing anything. So, I did continue working on this berry, and I saw on Helen D's channel that she didn't do all the fill-in on this little scarecrow. It's really cute. It was very, very cute. But see, if you see in here, it's all filled in. Now, it's not charted that way. It's charted just the outline, and then it says fill it in. It's for clarity of where the words are and stuff. And I really liked the way it looked on hers. So I'll have to think about that because it was pretty cool. On the other hand, I like this one too. So, don't know. But here is where I am. Oh, that's upside down. Is it? Okay. So this is an M. That U, I don't know about that U, but I went ahead and did it as charted. The M is almost done. Little N, there's a leaf right in here. Leaves going this way. There's a swirly or something. And then leaves down here. So I am nowhere near done, but considering everything, I tried to work on this earlier in the week. And I just could not, I was like, what is going on here? I don't think I'm getting these holes right. And I set it down. I came back like the next day, 2 days later, something like that. And was like, that is completely wrong. But it was with this M, you know, just nothing hard. You know, it's just this little straight line going up right here. And it was all crazy. It was very whacked. So, don't work on stuff when you're not feeling good. It helps as a distraction, but sometimes you go back and look at it and go, what was I doing? I've been thinking about picking up a knitting project that I have that I started a year ago on my birthday, actually a year ago. And it's about a third of the way done, I think. And promising myself that I'll work on it at least one day a week until it gets done. I knit a lot faster than I cross stitch, but I cannot knit without looking at what I'm doing in this pattern, because the pattern, I'll just do it wrong. But I grew up let me pause. So, I grew up learning how to crochet and knit, and at a very young age. At this point, I can't remember if it was my grandmother or my aunt that taught me how to knit. The other one taught me how to crochet. So I feel like my aunt taught me how to crochet and my grandmother taught me how to knit, but my grandmother crocheted almost all the time. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that my mom's birthday is on the 18th, or it would have been her birthday. And so it makes me think about my mom and her mom a lot. Now, this is a pair of, she used to make these slippers all the time. Let's see if I can get without too much. And I had these put in a shadow box because they were some of the latest ones that she made me. And I never wear these. I would never wear them because they hurt like the devil. The stitches on the bottom, they would hurt. They kept her feet warm, but she crocheted constantly. She died when she was 99 years old. And this was taken in Tucson in 1985. She died in 98, 99, 2000. I don't know. When my son was 2 years old. I didn't have him yet, but anyway. By this time, now you see the size of that blanket. She's looking at her hands, but she really cannot see. At a certain point, she started doing all. She crocheted right up until like maybe a month before she passed away. By then, it was her stuff. You know, if she had to tie different colors together or something, the knots were not as secure as they could have been because she couldn't see what she was doing. She crocheted by feeling what she was doing. And she did that through the death of her children, through the death of her husband. She never stopped doing the craft she loved. And she sewed, she quilted, she made dolls, she did all these different things, but this is what she loved: crocheting. And I have a I guess you'd call it an Afghan, very much like this, that I have of hers. My ex-husband, she gave it to me as a wedding present. He, as I said, the knots were not as well knotted as they could have been, but it was still together pretty well. And he used to love that, you know, to cover himself up with it. And he would stretch. And he would put his toes through some of the stitches and just pull to stretch. I'm like, I'm going to kill you. And get your feet out of the threads, you know. So it is put away. Because when my son gets married, I want to be able to pass it on to them. And I will explain to his wife, whoever she is, about my grandmother, and tell her there are some threads that may need to be, I will try to fix it myself, you know, beforehand, but just I don't care if they put it on their beds or not. It is beautiful. But anyway, that long spiel is because perhaps right now I need to knit. I've known how to knit and crochet since I was maybe 6 or 7. And it could be that I just need to go back to that, to do that during this time when I'm worried about my dad and things are busy, because for me, when I cross stitch, I have to be able to just really focus. Part of that is being able to see the holes. And I make a lot of mistakes. Anyway, let's go back to cross stitch, shall we? Everybody was really surprised when I did this. They're like, I didn't think of doing that. Yeah. Anyway. The last piece I have is my Crossstitch Camp piece. And it is supposed to look like this. Sorry. It's supposed to look like this. And I have the side done, and I'm working on the top. And then she gives very general instructions on how to make cording, but I'm supposed to make cording for around the bottom. No, that wouldn't be the bottom. Around the bottom, and I think around the edge of the lid. Because if you look at this picture, this black, this is only 3 things wide, but it looks a lot wider in this picture, and I think that it's cording. I don't know. And I've read the instructions, and I don't understand. Stop that. Stop. I don't understand what's going on. With the cording, but I think it'll become more clear. And then here's cording on the bottom, right? So this is the cording she's having you make, but how does this get so fat? Okay, so this stitch right here, those stitches, that's these. And so it doesn't look like there's enough to go down on the sides there. So I'm going to really have to read how that works. Is it a couple of things of cording that you string together? I don't know. Crossstitch Camp. And then, so it's a piece that I should cut it straight, but I haven't. I'm anxious to get it done, and please stop. The instructions, they want you to lace it, and you're not lacing it over anything. The top, there's a little clear piece of quilters, that template plastic, and so you're supposed to make the top over that and lace it together. But it doesn't say okay, so at this point I attach the cording starting on the back side of the lid. I crisscross the ends and tack down close to the edge. Okay, that's one thing of cording, but that looks fatter than that, right? And then I used some floss that was used for the perimeter of the stitching to make the cording. I used one 32-inch piece of 6-strand floss, folded over, end tied, twist to then fold to make cord. Huh? I think I'll just make cording the way I'm used to making cording. It just seems easier. Twist, then fold. Fold it over, the end tied, twist, then fold. How does that stay together? I don't know. I keep reading these instructions over and over, and you know, when I'm relaxing. In between stitching, as I said, I haven't been able to settle on anything. I don't know. A 32-inch piece of 6-strand floss, folded over 16 inches, and then twisted and then folded is maybe 8 inches. So an 8-inch strip of cord. Vonna Pfeiffer has an excellent tutorial on making cording. And she says, 3 to 4 times the circumference of whatever you want to put the cording on. And use several lengths of, depending on how thick you want it, of the 6 strands of floss. And then they're twisted together. And she has an excellent tutorial on making cording. And it is easier to understand than twisting and folding and folding and twisting. I don't understand how it stays as a cord in these instructions. The instructions for doing the side of the box are even less clear. I thought, silly me, that it was going to be put over the little pieces of bamboo. But apparently you snap the box together and then slide this, you make it into a loop and then you slide it up over the little bamboo box. Learning things that are new. Yeah. However, I will say that the pattern is very easy to follow. And the beginning parts of the instructions are easy to follow for putting it together. How big to cut it around, lacing. But what are you lacing it over? It doesn't say. It just says to finger press it So you're finger pressing and basically stitching it over itself to do this. I have a few pieces of stitching that I have not fully finished. But after I spend that much time working on a piece to stitch it, I like finishing it. So I don't want to leave tons of stuff not finished. And this little bee box, he's very cute. So I want to finish it. But I don't understand. So what I might do, maybe, is get a piece of normal fabric, just regular fabric, and cut it the sizes that this says and try to make what they're saying and see if it works, if I'm understanding, you know. I don't know what else to do, because I certainly don't want to start cutting up and stitching this thing together and do it completely wrong. Because, you know, once you cut that fabric, it's cut. She's very clear about how much to cut. You know, she says 12 threads. What? It's not a quarter of an inch, or no, 12 threads. I think she says 12 threads. On the top of the box, it's 14 threads. Oh, 16 threads. Above the stitching, 16 threads. Yeah. Okay, 16 threads. And I'm using 32 count because the model was stitched on 32 count, and I want it to fit over the little bamboo piece. So, yeah. And I'm happy with the way the stitching is looking. I think it's very cute. I'm hoping it gets over this little box. I'm sorry about the noise, but it has all these little pieces, and I want to make sure everything is together. I don't have this in a project bag. I have it in this little bag that the fabric was in, which is my first problem, right? Right. Okay, so before I show you what I got for my birthday, which isn't a lot, you know, I did participate in some retail therapy. And it already came in. Fat quarter shops, they send their stuff out fast. I saw on their Flosstube, I think it was their Flosstube, that they got in this DMC. This is called Moonstone. It's a printed Ada, you know, comes in a tube. I just thought it was really pretty, and I don't know what I'm going to put up. She said, you know, maybe a Halloween project or something like that. I'm like, I don't know. I love it. So I was really happy with this one. But I'm not going to make all that noise putting this back. Sorry. The other one, because of my problem with the mermaid pattern, what is it called? Underwater World. I bought this one, and it is darker than what I had before, the lightest one, and not as dark as the other two, but I think it's still too light. This is Malachite. On the video, it looked a lot darker. But when I was looking at it on the video, I was like, well, that really looks like water, doesn't it? I mean, it does look like malachite, but malachite is very dark. it is green and black. It's very dark. I used to work as a jeweler. I know. So, what do you think? I might do a floss toss on this and see. There's some places where it's white, you know, so it might still be too light. I think it's too light. I don't know. Anyway, Malachite and Moonstone. They also had two others. Agate, I think, and although she pronounced it agate, I've never heard it pronounced that way, but, you know, I don't know. And then after I show you what I got for my birthday, I will talk about the giveaway I did last week. Okay. So my son's girlfriend's mother is a florist. Ouch. I came home from the hospital on Sunday, and these were here for me. Are they not beautiful? Very heavy. But look at that. Look at that. Gorgeous. Even the back is pretty. Isn't that beautiful? I really needed that to come home to such beauty, right? And then this is from my dad. This, okay. I love flamingos. And technically, my sister went shopping at the gift shop for me, from my dad. My dad wanted her to get me something. And also, if you bite the flamingo, you're dead. Also, this, beautiful, huh? And my sister gave me this little bag that I can use for notions. It's kind of rubbery, you know, like maybe a cosmetic bag kind of thing. But it's roomy inside, and I love it. So I did have a very nice birthday. You know, it was quiet. It was nice. My son and my sister and I, we had takeout last night and ate cake and ice cream, you know. I made the cake. It wasn't anything fancy. The winner of spring berries, I'll have to go back and look, but it's on my last video. I summoned her from you. If I don't hear from you this week, I will contact the other person and see if they still want it. And then I only had one person. Who wanted the summer berries, and forgive me, I'm discombobulated here. So Teresa. So Teresa, send me your address on my email linked below, and I will send the summertime berry out to you. And it was Roxanne. Roxanne, I still haven't heard from you. If you are listening, could you please send me your email address? And if I don't get it this week, next week I'll tell the other person that they can have it. Okay? All right. And I think that is everything. So yeah, I have to run to take my sister to an appointment. So I will see you guys again next week. And thanks for listening. Happy stitching.